Story time on how I became the bad person because I told my niece that her husband had cheated on her with her mom, which is my sister, okay? I tend to talk a lot, so I'm just gonna try my very best to keep it to the point because it's a lot of juicy stuff. So this was like 5 years ago because I was pregnant. We went to Lake Chelan, rented some jet skis, and we were all just having like a family gathering, you know? My mom had adopted my niece, so we grew up kind of like sisters. And then my sister, which is her mom, she is my sister. We were having, we were all supposed to be cool. Everybody was drinking. I don't want to say it was like, oh, everybody was drinking, but they had beer and they were having some drinks, right? So this was towards like almost towards the end of the night. Obviously, I'm pregnant, so I have to go pee every 5 minutes. And my niece was sitting at the bench, and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. My sister wasn't there, and neither was my niece's husband. So I walk over, and as I walk over towards the bathrooms, because there were like, it was a picnic table, you have to walk. You know, when you're at a lake, you have to walk kind of far sometimes to get to the bathroom. Okay, so I walk over to the bathrooms, right? And the bathrooms are facing the opposite side, so we're like on this side, so you couldn't see anything. As I walk up to go to the bathroom, I see my sister like this, holding on to my niece's husband, her daughter's husband, holding on like this, and they were kissing. Mind you, my sister's like in her 50s, and he's like in his, maybe he's barely 30 probably. I didn't know what to do. I was really scared because I know that when you are the one, I didn't know what to do. Like, I was really scared. I'm pregnant. I don't know what to do. All these thoughts ran through my head, but I know that my loyalty was with my niece and I had to tell her. So I actually walked up there, as I'm walking towards them, I was like, wow. And I just started shaking my head, and they stopped. They immediately stopped. And I was like, wow. So like the men's bathroom and then the women's bathroom, they're like right next to each other. You just have to go this way or that way. I didn't know what to do. Like, I didn't know what to say. I was just like, wow. And then I went in the bathroom, my pregnant butt. I had to go pee. So as I'm going pee, I'm like, what do I do? What do I have to do? And I knew right away that if I were my niece, I would want to know. I knew I had to tell her. So I didn't know how I was going to do that. So I come out of the bathroom, right, and they're out there already, and I went ahead and I call him my nephew because he's like my nephew. I went and told him, I said, either you're going to tell her or I'm going to tell her, which meaning my niece. I was like, you're going to tell her or I'm going to tell her. And he was like, I'm going to tell her. And then my sister, she's just all mad. Like, she's just all like, oh no, at this time she's quiet, right? She's like really quiet. And I tell him, and then they're walking away, and then he's walking away, like away from the area where everybody's sitting down. And I'm like, nah, you're going to tell her, or I'm going to tell her. And I was like, I didn't want to tell her. I didn't know how to tell her, but I knew what the right thing to do was. Anyway, so I see that he's not trying to go towards her, and we're not about to wait till later tomorrow. So I said, hey, and I yelled out her name. And I was like, what's his name wants to tell you something. But the look on my face, like, she could tell something was wrong. And I was like, he has to tell you something. So he was over here, and then my sister was over there just, like, standing there, like, hanging out. Like, how can you do that to your own daughter, bitch? Anyway, my niece walks over, right? And she was like, hey, what's going on? And I was like, tell her. And he wouldn't tell her. So I was like, I just walked up there, and I saw both of them kissing. And she was like, you can see like the heartbreak in her face. Like, it was so messed up. I hate that I had to do that. But like, would you have done that? Would you have told your family member or like somebody that you're loyal to? I mean, it was like my niece, her mom, which is my sister, and her marriage. Like, and that's her daughter. Like, that's a very serious thing. Anyway, this whole thing happened. We're like far away from home too. And we all came in the same car. So it was pretty awkward. So he's upset. You can tell he feels guilty, but my sister didn't feel guilty at all. She didn't give two fucks. We were getting ready to go, and we all drove together. So she just gets in the car like nothing happened, right? Like, she just gets in the car, but she's not saying a word. Like, she's not saying anything. So they're not talking. They ended up not talking for a little bit, but then they were talking. And then my sister was mad at me, and she was telling, so her and her mom, and I told her, I said, that's your mom, you know, your mom's sick. If something happens to her, you're going to regret not talking to her. I'm still trying to be the bigger person, right? But anyway, literally like a week or two later, they make up or whatever, and they're talking again. You know, my niece is like, it's going to be hard, but, you know, I'm trying to give her a chance because she's sick and blah, blah, blah. Tell me why I became the bad person in the story. My sister was telling her daughter, my niece, that she didn't want her to talk to me, that she didn't want to talk to me. She didn't talk to me again. Like, she did not talk to me. Like, she didn't want to be friends with me, nothing. Mind you, I had been supporting her a lot financially. Like, I paid for her electricity because it was very high. Like, I was there for her. Like, I literally did nothing wrong to her. But anyway, yeah, so then my niece would be like, trying to like split her time up, because me and her were really close. She was like my best friend, and we were like really close. And yeah, I became the bad person in the whole fucking story because I told her, and then they were acting all funny. Like my sister did not, till this day, she still does not talk to me. And then I was like, what does she want me to do? Like, not say anything, like keep their secret, you know? So anyway, yeah, I ended up being the bad person in the story, and she was like, don't talk to her. If you really want to have a relationship with me, like, don't talk to her. And I'm just like, anyway, what would you guys have done? Because I think I did the right thing, and I don't want to be with somebody like that anyway. Next thing my sister won't do is try to kiss my husband.
Shut the hell up, because I'm gonna tell you a story time right now on how I figured out that one of my best friends from high school, that I literally told everything and did every single thing with, every single thing. Like, we could not go a day without either hanging out, texting, or FaceTiming each other. So, if you have a friend like that, pay attention. So I find out that this girl is secretly my bully. Huh, who would have fucking thought? I fucking legit, if you've ever seen cyberbully, that's exactly how I felt. I was like, except for the whole suicide shit. But, ever since high school, every single time I got a boyfriend, this girl would say, he used to talk to me. He used to like me. He used to want to be with me. He used to want to date me. He used to ask me he wanted to go out with me. You should be careful. And this and that. She would literally like put it in my head about how bad these guys were so that I wouldn't date them. But, alright, anyways. All throughout high school, I've been wanting to do makeup. Of course, it wasn't so beautiful back then, but I used to do makeup, and I would always have a page message me and tell me how freaking ugly I was, that my nose was huge, my makeup looked ugly, and I was never going to be anything. I even used to get text messages from this person just literally telling me to KMS myself. Me and her disconnected, and then for a while, I stopped getting those messages. Fast forward a few years, I start being her friend again, and I start getting those messages again. It's so crazy because those messages were point perfect to exactly what I was going through in life. And every time I was sad and I had those really sad, depressed days, I got a message. So I go ahead and introduce her to my husband, my kids, and everything. And you know, off the bat, she tells me, wow, I can't believe you're even dating that guy. And I'm like, yeah, of course, he's a wonderful guy. He's amazing. He's treated me well. And she's like, are you sure you're even happy being with a guy like that? Like, you deserve this, you deserve that, you need this, you need that. Knowing damn well I was happy. The crazy part comes up. So mind you, while she's telling me that my man's not good enough, that I need a better man, that I deserve better, this and that, but she's over here telling him in his ear how much of an amazing guy he is, that he's so sweet, he's a great person, and that anybody would be lucky to have him. I never caught that. She would tell me one thing and she would tell him another thing. Then I go ahead and have a talk with her about how I really want to be a makeup artist and an influencer, and I want to buy all these things, you know, to start my business and everything. And I'm telling her everything, like every single thing. The next day, I get a message from that person saying to not even try to do anything because I'm never going to amount to do anything in life. Same thing that they used to tell me in high school. I honestly start having dreams where she's like lighting my house on fire with me and my kids and my husband in it. So I take that as a gut feeling like, okay, something's wrong with her. Something's probably going on in her house. Me and her end up having a huge fight over some petty, dumb, irrational, stupid shit. Legit. Like, no reason for her and me to like end our friendship. But after that fight, she went straight to my man, messaged him, texted him, called him, left him a voicemail, trying to still be friends with him. What the fuck? Then a few days later, her cousin hits me up and sends me pictures of her asking her cousin, who already does like the Santa Muerte stuff, how to start an altar for me and my family. Mind you, this girl has gone to has done gender reveals with me. She had pictures of my ultrasound. She has everything. So I'm freaking out. And just, so then a close friend of both of ours ends up literally meeting up with me and coming over to my house because I got a new house and everything. And she tells me, so, you know, so-and-so is literally asking me about you, where you live and everything. And I was like, are you serious? And she's like, yeah. She's like, but I'm not gonna let her know because I know there's beef between you guys. And I'm like, I hope so. But you know how girls are. So, biggest mistake ever. Honestly, girls are like fucking, But, yeah, so, anyways, my house caught on fire a few days after that. So I don't know, I'm just really scared. I think this girl's really freaking crazy. She also stole my makeup packages, by the way. And then she started going on social media telling people to tell me to leave her alone, when all I did was tell her to leave my family alone. Yeah, you guys need to be careful about who you choose your best friends to be. You really need to check their family. Honestly, I hate to say it, but if their family is crazy, they're most likely crazy as well. So, yeah, this is just another tip. Do not re-friendship a friendship that has ended for a reason. And don't be telling anybody your business, honestly. You need to, before you start seeing people. But anyways, yeah, story time's over. I'm gonna eat my quesadillas now.
Hey guys, I'm car rotting and not going to class, so I'm going to give you the story time that you guys want. And I posted a story time after my Halloween one, but I took it down because I didn't want them to see. But do I give a fuck now? No, I don't. So therefore, I will be telling you guys what happened. Okay, so this is about my ex that we were on and off for 3 years. I'm just going to get to the point why we ended the last time because that's like the most important and like entertaining. I'm name dropping. I don't really care. Like, if they see this, like, they're already gonna know it's about them. So, my ex's name is Aaron, and then my ex best friend's name is Jalen. I've caught Aaron texting Jalen so many fucking times when we were together. That's why we were on and off, because he would always go to her. Finally, we were, in my head, what I thought, we were so good for like 5 months straight, which is like unlike us. We were so on and off. Like, it was so toxic. We were really good for 5 months straight. I thought we were locked in. Like, I thought he was gonna ask me to be his girlfriend. Like, I thought everything was going good, and I was so locked on him. Then I never really checked Aaron's location unless I was seeing if he was active. And I was with my friend Olivia. We weren't on our phones or anything, and just like something inside of me was like, check Aaron's location right now. So I checked his location, and he was on Jalen Street. I texted him and I was like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? Like, where are you? And he was like, I'm at McDonald's. Her house is right next to McDonald's. So I was like, okay. Because I looked and then he was at McDonald's. So I was like, okay, low key, maybe it tweaked. And then I told Olivia, and Olivia was like, Carmen, what the fuck? Are you stupid? Don't trust that bitch. And then she was like, get the fuck in the car. Like, we're going to McDonald's. And I was like, okay. Like, okay. Get in the car. And his location's like slowly going around McDonald's. So I knew he was going to the drive-thru. We go around McDonald's. And then I was like, oh, he's alone. We're chill. And then she was like, no, he's not. Like, there's literally someone in his passenger seat now. So we spin back around. I kid you fucking not. This is how you normally sit in a car. Jalen was like this. trying to fucking hide. What? Oh, hell no. That shit pissed me off so bad. And this is bad on my part towards myself. I called him, like, shaky voice, crying. Like, I showed so much, like, vulnerability. Like, thinking back to that, I should have never done that and, like, showed him how much it hurt me. But he was like, Carmen, like, I'm so sorry. I'll drive her home right now. Like, I didn't know you would get this mad. And I told him, like, I wouldn't get mad if you would have just told me. The fact you, like, tried to go out of your way and lie about it and have her fucking duck in your passenger seat so I wouldn't fucking see her, that's that shit. That's that fucking shit, bro, because don't come at me with that bullshit. And then he drives her home. He goes to someone down the street's house for a bonfire, and I already know it was happening, like, whatever. And then he was like, Carmen, I'm gonna sleep at Troy's house tonight, which is his best friend. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Probably like 2:30 in the morning, he turns his location off. I texted him and I was like, why'd you turn your location off? Where are you? And he was like, I'm at Trey's house. And I was like, why'd you turn your location off? And he was like, because, like, you showed up at McDonald's, like, that was fucking crazy. Okay, like, maybe it was crazy, but, like, I caught you. Like, you gave me a reason to be fucking crazy. I was like, but you had it on when you were at Summers and then turned it off when you go to Trey's house. And then he was like, yeah, because I just realized how fucking crazy it was of you and you're literally insane. Whatever. I left it as that. I said goodnight. Wake up. I texted him, like, I didn't know anything, but I knew, like, gut feeling, I knew he slept at Jalen's house. So I texted him good morning. I was acting like everything was fine. And then I got confidence. Okay, like, let me FaceTime him and confront this hoe. I was like, are you sure you slept at Trey's last night? And he was like, yeah. I gaslit the fuck out of him. I was like, oh, really? Because I talked to Jalen and she told me that you slept at her house. And he was like, Carmen, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm so sorry. And I go, you dumbass fucking bitch. You just opt yourself out because I didn't even talk to her. And then he was like, what? Like, I didn't even sleep at her house. Like, I never said I slept there. I never said I slept there. All I said was, I'm sorry because I didn't know what you were talking about. Like, I never slept there. I never said I slept there. Come on. Like, I was just dumb and delusional, but I'm not that fucking dumb. Like, what? I hang up with him, and then I was like, let me actually fucking call Jalen. So I called Jalen on Insta because she had me blocked on we had each other blocked on everything else. So I called her on Insta, and I was like, Jalen, like, I'm being so dead ass right now. Like, we were best friends for 3 years. If you don't tell me the truth, like, that's so fucked of you because I don't want to look stupid and blindsided. And she was like, okay, like, yeah, he slept at my house. After a little bit, I found out that he was sleeping at our house for 3 months straight. The whole 5 months that I thought we were good, nope, he was with my best friend the whole time. But yeah, this video is getting too long and I need to walk in because I've been sitting in my car for an hour, so. But yeah, that's what happened with me and my ex, and there are plenty of other stories with him because we're on and off for 3 years and, like, on and off. Like, I'm talking every fucking month. A new thing happened every month. So if you guys want more, I have plenty more that I will gladly share. I just shared, like, the most recent one.
What's the most unhinged thing your mother-in-law has ever done to you? I'll go first. So I am from a town 2,800 miles away from the town that I lived in with my ex-husband, and we had a 2-year-old son at the time. And I went home to visit my family. And while I was there, he told me he wanted a divorce. I said, I'm literally here for 4 more days. I will be home. We'll talk about it when I get home. My dad and my grandfather said, you should not go back because he's going to have you served and he's going to take that baby the minute you get back to Ohio. And I was like, he would never do that. So I land back in Ohio. He picks me up from the airport and we go to our house. He is saying he's dropping me and our baby off and he's going to his mom's. He has moved out. And I'm like, you wouldn't serve me, would you? And he goes, I would never do that. 6 a.m. the next morning, a knock, a cop knock. Boom, 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 boom. I go to my door. It's a cop. And my then husband was standing right behind the cop. And the cop says, I'm here to serve you. And we also have a court order to remove the minor child from the house. I looked over the shoulder of the cop at my coward piece of shit, now ex-husband, and I said, are you fucking kidding me? And then I told the cop he could pound salt.
They then called 2 more cop cars that pulled up, and they entered my home and forcibly removed my sleeping, now screaming baby from my house. And of course, in the court order for the removal of the minor child, it was all a bunch of lies that they gave to the judge to justify said removal. So I called my dad crying, freaking out, and we immediately retained a lawyer and replied to the court order, and it was removed. And why that attorney and why my ex didn't get in trouble for clearly making all of those things up to the judge is still baffling to me. But it was all funded by my former mother-in-law. It was all her idea, and the cowardly piece of shit went along with it and betrayed me in probably the most vile way I've ever been betrayed.
I'm a bad person who holds grudges for my family, so get ready with me while I spill one of the biggest grudges I've been holding for a very long time. My dad has always cared so much about what his brothers think of him. 2005, 2006, my family's pretty freaking poor. But my dad lives in the United States and he has a couple siblings who live in Mexico. And one of them calls him up and is like, hey, can I borrow $13,000 for a bus to make money? My dad doesn't have money, but he agrees to take out a loan. My uncle is going to be sending my dad the payments for this loan. They're going well, sending my dad regular payments. And one day my dad gets a call. Says, hey, I am going to be paying for my daughter's school. I'm not going to be able to make payments to you anymore. He didn't say I can start making payments whenever. He just said, I can't pay you back, basically. So my pushover dad, what can I do? He just told me he's not going to pay. And that's that, right? So that's the end of it. My dad now has to continue paying this debt off because it's in his name and in the United States. This guy doesn't even live here. So what do we get a couple weeks later in the mail? An invitation to a quinceañera. And not only an invitation to his daughter's quinceañera, a phone call to my dad saying, hey, what do you think you're going to be able to contribute to this quinceañera? The audacity. He left my dad with I think $8,000 of debt. And you know what? We can't even go to this quinceañera because we can't afford it. And also, my mom doesn't want to be there because she's like, fuck these people. From what we see in this video of the quinceañera, lavish, luxury, giant. And can you guess, have I ever had a quinceañera? Have either of my older sisters had a quinceañera? No. This is the part that's going to make you pissed off. But keep in mind, there's hell on earth coming later. My sister graduates high school in 2007. My mom has always had strict rules that we were going to go to college. She didn't know what college was. She didn't know that it cost money, but she knew that we had to go to college because that's what American people do. My eldest sister is going to college, and lo and behold, it costs money. My sister needs about $3,500 to go to college. My mom is like, hey, we have $3,500 of college to pay. My dad paid off $7,000 to $8,000 of party debt. And my dad says, how do you want me to help? Every extra dollar that I have going to this debt that I have. His brother put this boundary and said, hey, I can't pay you back because I got to pay for my daughter's school. And my dad wasn't able to pay for my sister's school. My mom had to borrow money from my grandma. And we haven't even started talking about my narcissist grandma. We'll get there. We'll get there one day. We need to feel better about this story because it's really sad. It's tragic and I hate it. But fear not, because you live your hell on earth and they are no exception to the rule. They lose the trucks. Then this next one makes me sad. They experience no social mobility. And that was a little sad for me because I went to my grandpa's funeral back in 2023 and it honestly seemed like they were in a worse position. Finally, the big hell on earth event. This uncle, he gets sick. He's on his deathbed, sick bed. He's not dead. Very sick, and he's in the hospital. And what happens? 2 families. Allegedly, my dad denies it. I haven't heard anything about that. But yes, he's in, his family's at his side, and boom. Secret family, 2 families. Hell on earth. Anyway, I have a hatred for quinceañeras because I think they're a waste of time and a waste of money. And I think that's rooted in my experience with this stupid quinceañera.
This is the craziest thing that's ever happened to me at work, and I'm still in shock, to be honest. Story time while I eat my American deli. Oh, it's a loss. Considering the fact that I haven't gotten an apology or my money back, I will be name dropping. So, as some of you may know, I work at Sky Zone. I've been working at Sky Zone for over a year, like a year and a half. It's probably over a half now. Is it over a half? I don't know. Anyways, so like they didn't give me no seasoning on my fries. I don't even feel, ugh. Last week, there was a new girl. Her name is Jalayla. I think her name is Jalayla, like her full name, but we call her Lay. I think this was her second week when I met her, and I just want to say that when we met, literally like, she was cool, or I thought she was. We would talk, we would chat it up. It wasn't anything awkward. We actually clicked. Like, we were talking every time we were on a shift together. I even paid for, I don't even know if I'm gonna be eating my food while I'm talking, but I paid for like a whole pizza for me, her, and another coworker. You know, just to be nice. Like, I'm a nice person, so the pizza was only $8. I just paid for the pizza. She was being nice to me as well. So thank you, Queen. Bro, I should have looked at her sideways when she always called me Queen. Well, I mean, no, some people just do that. Some people just say Queen, but she always, thank you, Queens. Sorry, Queen, like stuff like that. 3 days ago, July 22nd, we were both scheduled on the clock, and we were at the front desk. So keep in mind, I had one $5 bill already in my bag, right? This lady, she tipped me another $5 bill, so that's two $5 bills that I have in my bag now. Lay, she ended up breaking her phone, and I was letting her use my phone so she could contact her mom. And her mom said that they were going to get her phone fixed after work. She got off at 5. I had to close. I got off at 8. After she broke her phone, she was like, her Apple Pay didn't work, so she needed cash. So she was like, well, I hope. She kept saying like, oh, she need cash. She kept saying that the whole day after she broke her phone. So I'm not really thinking nothing of that. Fast forward, around 4:45, I order my food, because my Sky Zone is in a plaza. So I ordered my food, and I had to just walk to go get it. And at 5 o'clock, I went to go get my food. She actually walked with me since she was off the clock. She walked with me, and I used a $20 bill to pay for my food. My food was like 15 something, and I just let the lady keep the cash because I always go to her. I was like, you can keep the cash. After that, I didn't really think nothing of this, but she was like, she was like, oh, you were so nice for that, blah, blah, blah. I brushed it off because, you know, it was nice, but I didn't really think she would be, you know, weird. We walking back into Sky Zone, and I'm going into a party room to go eat my food. But she's still at work because she's waiting on her ride, and she was going to jump. She was just going to jump while she worked for her mom. While I'm eating my food, she comes in the party room, and she was like, oh, your bag was open, so and some of your cash fell out, so I put it back in your bag. She said this to me. I didn't really think nothing of it, but I was in my head like, I thought, I could have sworn I closed my bag. Like, I didn't remember leaving my bag open because I always close my bag up. But I said, okay, I didn't think nothing of it. She walked out, she went to go jump, and then she came back in, she was telling me when she was leaving, and yeah, I'm still eating my food. Once I was done eating my food, she's already gone. I went back to the front desk, and it's me and my other coworker. There's this man, he's a member. This man, he came up asking for his wallet, and I almost said like there wasn't anyone that turned in a wallet, but I looked in our little lost and found drawer, and I asked if that was his wallet. He said that was his wallet. He walked away. He came back, and he was angry. This man is going off like somebody had took his money. And he's literally going off like he's angry, like for real. He's asking us to like roll the cameras. My other coworker, she's actually my friend. We're cool, but she said that Lay was the one who turned in the wallet. But we're not thinking like, oh, she's the one who took the money. So we're telling this man that there's really nothing we can do. We told our assistant manager, and he's telling him the same thing, that there's like really nothing we can do about that, because after that man got all his anger out or whatever, he left, and I go and look at my bag. I think I was getting my lip gloss or something, but I go to my bag, and my money looking a little short. I don't remember the exact amount of money that I had, but I had a lot of ones. I had those two $5 bills, and I either had 2 or 3 $20 bills. I don't remember the exact amount that I had, but I'm like, hold on, my ones. I had way more ones than this. When I counted, like, at that moment, I only had 12 ones, but I had way more ones than that. 2 of my coworkers that were in the front, like, while I said that, they were like, oh my goodness, like, did she take your, like, she probably took your money. And I'm like, this can't be. Like, no way she took my money. Like, we've been cool. Like, she didn't even give me those vibes. No way she took my money. I had to start eating. I'm hungry. Okay, they were like, let's go look at the cameras. I'm like, okay, let's go look. And we got back there, and before we actually saw, like, the clip, I'm like, hold on, I had two $5 bills in my bag. If I only have one $5 bill, she definitely took my money. So I'm like, come on, let's go back. Like, let me go look at my bag to see if I only have one $5 bill. And they were like, no, let's just see, let's look first. So we did. You can tell that she went in the bag. Well, I mean, like, she was putting stuff in her bag. But I wasn't really paying attention. But I went back to the front, opened my purse, and I saw I only had one $5 bill. I'm like, wow, this girl really took my money. But I'm not really fully accusing her yet. Because, again, like, when we looked at the clip, I didn't, like, look for real. So I went to go tell my assistant manager. And he basically said, okay, I'm going to look at the cameras and let you know. Fast forward, I'm at home. And I'm about to send her a text. Like, it was gonna be in a respectful way though, because I'm like, I'm not accusing you, but you know, it was a nice little paragraph. I can show y'all what I was gonna text to her, but I never sent this message because my phone, right before I was about to send the message, my assistant manager called me, and he's like, yeah, you can see her going through your bag multiple times. Okay. He ended up telling me not to text her because they wanted to handle it. So I just said, okay. I never sent the message. My general manager, she also texted me. She was like, she's gonna she's gonna check the cameras and they're gonna figure it out because it's not okay. Oh my goodness, I forgot to tell y'all. She was literally texting me on Instagram because we followed each other on. Well, I don't know. She might still follow me on here and on my Instagram on my main. I don't follow her on here and my main, but she had already. Well, no. Not yet. She didn't unfollow me on our spams yet, but she was texting me saying, hey queen, my phone working. Yeah, I bet your phone is working. You stole that money and you probably paid for it with that money. But yeah, she was texting me, and I said, after she said that, I was like, perfect. Hey, and she was like, text me when you get off work. Hello, I'm running out of time, so I have to hurry up. But the next day, because I had to work again, my general manager, she looked on the cameras and she definitely saw her stealing the man's money and my money. So she was contacting her mom, and basically we get to press charges. The man said he's going to press charges. I don't know if I should press. I don't know if I want to press charges or not. But yeah. The man said that it wasn't even about the money. He had a bill to pay. So the fact that she took that money from that man is crazy. She took $100 from him. Not to mention, today is Friday, the day we get paid. You couldn't wait? Child, I'm out of time, but God gonna handle her, and that's all I gotta say.
Do y'all want to hear the story about how I found out that my ex-husband and my ex-best friend had been sleeping together? I knew you did because you're nosy. So we're gonna rewind to when I'm 20 years old. I'm working at this little hair salon in this horrible little town in Texas, okay? And one day this girl comes in, and we'll call her Ashley. So Ashley comes in and we become fast friends. So Ashley grew up in this town, went to high school there, yada, yada, yada. I did not. I went to a different high school, but we were both like bullied and didn't have a lot of friends in high school. So we kind of bonded over that, right? So several months later, after meeting Ashley, I meet my ex-husband and start dating him. Well, he and Ashley went to high school together and knew each other like all throughout, even though he was a year older. Now, my ex-husband was like popular, played football, you know, like peaked in high school. So Ashley thinks it's so cool that we're dating, like super supportive of it. Me and him end up meeting, getting married, and getting pregnant in less than a year, right? Classic Southern girl tragic tale. Ashley ends up meeting a military guy. They start dating, get married, and pregnant also within a year, okay? So super early on, me and her are both in abusive relationships. Like, it's not going well, but her ex ends up unaliving himself, and she becomes a single mom, right? Super suddenly, super quick. It's really sad time in her life, but I'm the kind of person who doesn't abandon someone when they become a single mom. And so I stay her friend through all this, and I'm like trying to support her and be a good friend. And Jeremy is right there with me trying to support her and be a good friend, which is so ironic. So one day, me and Jeremy go to Ashley's house, and she's talking about how she needs help with her yard work, okay? And Jeremy, the sweet, loving, kind, supportive person that he is like, I'll help you with your yard work. And now she's like, oh my gosh, that's so nice. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so nice. You're such a sweet, supportive, kind person to help my friend like that, you know? So fast forward a month later, I end up leaving Jeremy. Totally unrelated. Nothing happens with the yard work, or so I thought. So a month later, I've left Jeremy and I call Ashley and I'm like, I left him. I'm done. I'm a single mom now, blah, blah, blah. And she's so supportive. She's like, oh, you got this. Like, I'm your ride or die. I'll be here for you through anything, blah, blah, blah. And like, she was there. She was there for me for the next year. For the next year, she was the person I could call through anything. I could call her and be like, I'm so depressed about dating. Single mom life's so hard. Jeremy was so awful to me. And she like listens and supports me through all of it. So a year of this happens and we're just the best of friends. And one weekend she came to hang out with me and we're going out together, kid-free weekend, with my sister and my other friend. And we're going to DFW and we're at this bar. And we're like one drink in. We just got to this bar. The night is young. And she's like, oh, hey, did I tell you about how I saw Jeremy at his high school reunion, right? Because it's a small town. They weren't in the same class, but you know how it is. Like everybody goes to these things because there's nothing else to do. So she's like, yeah, I was at his 10-year reunion and I saw him. And I'm like, oh, cool, you know, whatever. And she's like, yeah, and I heard a rumor. And I'm like, oh, what's the rumor? And she's like, well, I heard a rumor that he and I have been sleeping together. And I was like, oh, that's so weird. Like, when did this happen? And why are you just now telling me this as your best friend? This seems like something like vital information that you would share. And she was like, yeah. Like several people came up and told me this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, what did you say when they told you this? And she was like, oh, I just told them that he had a weird growth on his thing. And I was like, that's weird. Like, why wouldn't you just tell them that like it never happened? Okay, so after my ex-best friend told me that there was a rumor going around that her and my ex-husband were sleeping together, and she said that instead of telling people the rumor wasn't true, she was telling people that he had a growth on his thing, which is not true. And I was like, Ashley, like, why would you not just tell these people that are coming up to you and approaching you with this supposed rumor? Why would you not just tell them that it's not true? Like, logically, if someone thinks that you're sleeping with your best friend's ex-husband, the first words out of my mouth would be like, that's a lie. That didn't happen. So she has no answer for this. Like, she does not have anything to say, really. And it's like really odd at this point. Like, we're out with my sister, with my friends. And so everyone just like starts drinking more because it's like she won't answer any questions. And we just kind of like awkwardly move on from it. So the next day, I'm like, look, I need some clarification on what happened here. This is a weird story. I don't understand. I need to know who told you this. Like, I need to know the people who told you this rumor. And so she gave me 2 names, and I call both these people. And these people are both like third parties. Not her friends, not my friends, not his friends, just people that we all know from this small town. And I call both these people, and they're like, Ashley, who? Like, they both have no idea what I'm talking about. Like, it was clearly a lie. These people did not tell her this. So the weekend goes on and she refuses to say anything else. Like, she will not offer any other explanation. She will not offer any more like, this is what happened. The only thing she tells me is that she had not told me the last time she had seen my ex before this reunion thing. And it was because he had come to her house while we were still together to do yard work. Personally, I think this is when everything happened. It may have been after, but I think this is when it happened. And she said he came on to her and she rejected him, but he told her that if she didn't sleep with him, he was going to tell me that they did anyways. So she claims that nothing happened, but she never told me about this. And then we proceeded to become like the closest best friends ever over the next year. And I just think that either it happened then or like after we were split up and she just never told me. And neither of them will ever confess. I know that, and that's fine. I don't need a confession. To me, it's the only logical explanation for what happened, and she was trying to cover her tracks and tell me this rumor in hopes that, like, if I heard the rumor, I'd be like, oh, yeah, like, Ashley already told me about that. That's a stupid rumor. It's not true. And in reality, it was true. And if it's not that they slept together, then it's just that she used my traumatic relationship as an anecdotal story time around all my friends while we were hanging out, which is honestly like just as shitty and horrible to make up a story about people thinking that you were sleeping with your best friend's ex-husband just for fun if it didn't actually happen.
The other reason that I do think it happened is because the next day we went out to the Katy Trail Ice House, okay? And I was flirting with this guy there, and Ashley was flirting with his friend. Well, like, not long into it, the friend tells us that he recently got engaged. And I'm like, Ashley, like, this guy is, like, taken. Like, he's not interested. Now, he was, like, kind of flirting with her, too. But she, like, didn't care, clearly. Like, kept openly flirting with him. Even when I, like, kind of pulled her aside and was like, dude, like, I think you should chill. He's, like, engaged. She was like, I don't really care. And to me, if that's, like, where your moral compass lies with, like, people who are taken, then how am I to know that you're not going to try to get with my man?